Hey YouTube, very first thing, please dislike this video if it wasn't helpful, so I know how to improve and use the comment resource below to help me make better content for you guys. Please give me a like or sub if you want to support this channel and open your mind to learn so that I can be of better help to you. Thanks. I'm Will, and I'm going to be talking about spirituality in a practical sense. This particular video will be an extremely basic, but what I consider to be fundamental guide to actually causing real change in your reality through what many call manifestation. I fully believe that everything is mental and that all things already exist. That's why I prefer to think of it as alignment rather than manifestation. You may not see your state, but if everything already exists, then it already is there. You just have to align yourself with it. This channel will primarily be focused on the teachings of Neville Goddard, because more than any other system I've ever used or belief system I have studied or followed, what Neville teaches works. That's not to say that I want you to trust me. I want you to trust no one and nothing, but objectively provable concepts. And that's why this is important to me. I have come to believe through practice that everything is influenced by your mind many times more than any external state. Everything starts from within, and this is provable. I'm going to show you how to prove it. And I want you guys to test for yourselves. The late great magician Aleister Crowley defines magic as the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with will. I mention this because it is exactly the same thing that this channel is about. Before I studied Neville's teachings, I studied religion and the law of attraction. I studied magic and witchcraft and energy work. It's all the same when you get down to it, honestly. Universal truths are universal truths. And if they are true, then they must be testable and in a consistent way. So Neville primarily based his teachings off his own view of the Bible, which was symbolic. So if you hear Bible verses in my videos, that will be why. This doesn't mean you need to be a Christian to manifest change in your reality. The entire point is that this works whether you know it or not, but that you have the power to claim mastery over it. Despite the existence of other channels on this same topic, which have inspired and influenced me and a lot of other people, I believe that even one person who can learn and grow through my channel makes it worth existing. I believe there is room for this channel and that everyone in this community can grow together. Okay, now that that's out of the way, in Neville's book, Out of This World, he breaks down his own step-by-step formula to create change in your reality in conformity with your will. And break that down for you. Number 1, define your objective. Know definitely what you want. Number 2, construct an event which you believe you will encounter following the fulfillment of your desire, something which will have the action of self predominant, an event which implies the fulfillment of your desire. And number 3, immobilize the physical body and induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep. Then mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now so that you experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh were you now to realize your goal. And this is super powerful, and this actually works. I can and will in the future on this channel share with you a lot of things I have caused to happen in this exact way. I'm going to read this to you again because of how important it really is, and then I'm going to break down for you in simple language so that you can try it and experience it for yourself, which is absolutely the ultimate goal of this content, is to practically improve your life. Yes, you. So number 1, define your objective. Know definitely what you want. Number 2, construct an event which you believe you will encounter following the fulfillment of your desire, something which will have the action of self predominant, an event which implies the fulfillment of your desire. And number 3, immobilize the physical body and induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep, and then mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action, imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now so that you experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh were you now to realize your goal. And now I'm just going to break that down for you guys. It's my broken down version kind of. So figure out what you want, and this is going to be your seed. It's like something that you're going to plant in the soil of your subconscious mind. And then number 2, from a first-person perspective, you can only do this from first person. Imagine that you are experiencing this thing that you want. Not this thing directly, but something which absolutely implies it must be the case. A good example is hearing a friend or someone close to you congratulate you for something. I often find that if you push it relatively far out from the thing, it's helpful because you can kind of dilute the emotion. And emotion's kind of important with this stuff. You want to visualize with detail from first person and experience the emotion you would feel were it actually true. When this is done with enough mental power and clarity, it kind of plants your seed for you. And number 3, if you can do this right before sleep or achieve a meditative state, it will be extremely helpful. That being said, I've had a lot of success doing it when I'm not in a meditative state. So it really depends on what works for you, but Neville preferred to get into a meditative state, and I will admit it's easier in my own experience to do it that way. And then I want to discuss a few more topics with you guys, and then end the video with Neville's own first experience using this, using his mind to cause change in his material world, because the story is really just helpful, honestly. But the first topic I want to discuss is dropping your desire versus consistently imagining. This was something that I got really caught up in for a long time. In the end, I believe everything is mental. You can change something based on your beliefs regarding it. If you believe it is better to drop your desire, then it is better to drop it. If you believe it's better to consistently imagine, then that's better. Neville shares a large amount of examples of people consistently imagining, and as far as I can tell, he shares less examples of dropping the seed. But I know for a fact he personally did both, and I as well have had success with both. As far as my own experiences go, I think I tend to have the best results when I imagine until I feel like the seed is fully formed, and then I let it go. After that point, anytime it just comes into my mind, like just automatically, I think from the perspective where I have what I want instead of my current physical reality. I find that I just know when it's fully formed, and then it always seems to happen when I'm not directly focusing on it. That being said, I truly believe that everything is mental, so your beliefs may be different and some other variation may work better for you. I really want your success. I genuinely want you to succeed, so I urge you to test it consistently and find your own sweet spot, because whatever works for you is going to work for you. It might be different than what works for me. The next thing I want to talk about is external forces. So Neville argues, and I fully agree from my own experience, that external forces don't have any effect unless you give it to them. This goes for like all external forces. So as the Bible says, seek the Lord. And I'm actually butchering this verse. I'm not looking directly at it, but seek the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. It's something like that. And this means to go within your mind and trust your mind to perform the work, not you. All you must do is experience the state. This goes for all external forces. There are no exceptions, and like everything else I will say on this channel, I strongly urge you to test it. If you give power to something with your mental energy, it will have power. Claim back your power for yourself. And I'll end this video on the story that got Neville started, after which I'll gladly imagine that everyone who watches this video is impacted greatly and that your life can truly be helped, if not by this, then hopefully just in general. So for some context, Abdullah was Neville's mentor and his friend. And this is taken directly from his book, Awakened Imagination and the Search. It was the fall of 1933 that I first approached Abdullah with a problem. He asked me one simple question: "What do you want?" I told him I would like to spend the winter in Barbados, but that I was broke. I literally did not have a nickel. "If you will imagine yourself to be in Barbados," he said, "thinking and viewing the world from that state of consciousness, instead of thinking of Barbados, you will spend the winter there. You must not concern yourself with the ways and means of getting there, for the state of consciousness of already being in Barbados, if occupied by your imagination, will devise the means best suited to realize itself. Man lives by committing himself to invisible states, by fusing his imagination with what he knows to be other than himself, and in this union he experiences the results of that fusion. No one can lose what he has, save by detachment from the state where the things experienced have their natural life. You must imagine yourself right into the state of your fulfilled desire," Abdullah told me, "and fall asleep viewing the world from Barbados. The world which we describe from observation must be, as we describe it, relative to ourselves. Our imagination connects us with the state desired, but we must use imagination masterfully, not as an onlooker thinking of the end, but as a partaker thinking from the end. We must actually be there in imagination. If we do this, our subjective experience will be realized objectively. This is not mere fancy," said he, "but a truth you can prove by experience." His appeal to enter into the wish fulfilled was the secret of thinking from the end. Every state already there as mere possibility, as long as you think of it, but is overpoweringly real when you think from it. Thinking from the end is the way of Christ. I began right there and then, fixing my thoughts beyond the limits of sense, beyond that aspect to which my present state gave being, towards the feeling of already being in Barbados and viewing the world from that standpoint. He emphasized the importance of the state from which man views the world as he falls asleep. All prophets claim that the voice of God is chiefly heard by man in dreams. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. Job 33, verse 15 and 16. That night, and for several nights thereafter, I fell asleep in the assumption that I was in my father's house in Barbados. Within a month, I received a letter from my brother saying that he had a strong desire to have the family together at Christmas and asking me to use the enclosed steamship ticket for Barbados. I sailed 2 days after I received my brother's letter and spent a wonderful winter in Barbados. This experience has convinced me that man can be anything he pleases if he will make the conception habitual and think from the end. It has also shown me that I can no longer excuse myself by placing the blame on the world of external things, that my good and my evil have no dependency except from myself, that it depends on the state from which I view the world, how things present themselves. To me, this story was just really impactful in my own view of the world and of these things. And honestly, I think it's a great place to get started, is just to hear his own experience. I think if you try it with almost anything, you'll have a brand new way of looking at the world, and it's incredible. where this has brought me so far. Again, like I said in the beginning, I want you guys to leave a dislike if this content's not for you, or if you think I could improve, and leave a like if you love it. Please comment and share your own thoughts. I'm sure there are some things that I probably messed up, but hey, it's a process. We gotta do and try stuff and grow and get better. You can't start off perfect, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't start. But anyway, I'll let you guys go, and I wish you a great one.